Isn't that a real simple recipe? Now a few tips to keep in mind is that soak the jaggery for a good amount of time in the hot water for about at least 30 minutes, because then it will dissolve and then the water also comes to room temperature. So if there are any particles like you saw me doing, I just crush them with my fingers. You want a very clear kind of a liquid. Also use fresh coconut. Say that the coconut is not frozen or it's not stale. It should be nice and freshly grated. About a day or two maximum. Don't use very stale coconut. Also, we are going to be using whole wheat flour, which is very healthy, which we use for our chapatis every day and rotis every day. Now the consistency, like you saw, it has to be a very thick consistency. It shouldn't be runny and it shouldn't be a dough consistency. So it should be like when you make, I guess, gawan. If you all know what is gawan, it has to be of that consistency. Therein, you can just pick it up and press it, put it down on your pan, and then take a little bit of water and just press it down. Now if you're a new beginner and you want to make this and you're scared of putting your hand onto the flame, the easiest thing you can do is you can take some butter paper or some grease paper, wet that a little bit, and then with your hand just thapofy it on top. So you take a big piece of butter paper, press it down on that gawan and then press it with your hands. That way your hands won't come in touch with the paper directly. The thing is that I'm using pure ghee or clarified ghee. Don't use oil, because then the entire taste of this recipe will get totally changed. So use ghee. Ghee is easily available in stores. And put a little bit of ghee, not too much, because then when you're pressing down the water it does splatter, so just be careful a little bit. And then just put a little bit of ghee on the top, and you can have this as all by itself actually with a cup of tea, or you can have it with some pickle or whatever. Friends, and welcome back to Akshita's Recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today we're going to make Goan Godshe Fov, which is poha. In Konkani it's called Fov, F-O-V. And it's this beautiful light dish which has not much preparation, has no oil. It's just made with very few ingredients that we have in our kitchens. So let's go ahead and make this beautiful recipe. So friends, let's see today's lovely recipe. It's super easy. Now here I'm using the medium poha, but you have to use the thick poha or the medium one. I'll explain it to you at the end of the video. Now here I've taken a colander or a sieve or a sift, and I'm going to wash and rinse this poha under running water really well. Just run your fingers through it, see that all of it gets coated and rinsed with the running water. And once we do that, we're just going to set this aside in the colander itself for 15 minutes. So just set it aside for 15 minutes. Then it becomes nice and soft and puffed up. So this is a no cook recipe, no oil, nothing used. Now here I'm grating a cup of coconut. We just need half a cup of coconut for this recipe. Now I'm going to add this cup of coconut to a large plate. Here I have half a cup of Goan Jaggery that I've grated. If you don't have get this jaggery, you can use regular jaggery that you have at hand. I'm going to add just a quarter teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and we are going to mix all of this really well together. Now if you have granules of the jaggery, just crush them up along with your fingertips till everything gets really nicely mixed up. So now we are going to add the poha to the other ingredients, and again we're going to mix everything really well. Now since we're using Goan Jaggery, so the entire mixture should be nicely coated with the Goan Jaggery so that you don't have any white color left. So that way it gets nicely mixed up. And that's it guys. It's all ready to enjoy with a nice hot cup of tea. Really simple. Now just a few tips is that you have to use this thick poha, not the thin poha. You get thick, medium and thin. You can go for the medium or the thick, not the thin poha. Now you have to, like I showed you in the video, you got to wash the poha in a strainer. You don't have to soak it in water. Just wash it really well under running water thrice, and then just keep it aside for about 10 to 15 minutes till it nicely puffs up. Then you got to take the Goan Jaggery. Now if you don't get your hands on Goan Jaggery, you can use your regular jaggery that you have at home, the yellowish or brownish color one. Just grate it very well, because that will help, in it mixing really well with the coconut and the salt. And that's about it. So it's a very easy recipe. It's pretty healthy. It's a nice, evening kind of a snack with tea, or in the morning for a light breakfast. So today we're going to make this lovely Goan sweet called Pinagr. And it is really, really simple and easy recipe. Now here I have about 200 grams or 1 cup of Goan Jaggery. Now I'm just going to take a knife and I'm just going to grate it like this. You can also use a cheese grater. It's very easy to do it. It just, you can immediately grate it. It's very, very simple. Now this Goan Jaggery is palm jaggery. So I'm using this regular cup to measure all my ingredients. So this is exactly 1 cup. And I'm also going to be using 1 cup of rice flour along with 1 cup of desiccated coconut. Now you could use fresh coconut too for this recipe. I'm also going to be using 1 teaspoon of cardamom or elaichi powder, which is freshly ground, and about a 1/4 cup of water. Now here I've just heated up a pan. And to this pan we're going to add our Goan Jaggery as well as the water. Now we're just going to stir this on a low flame, low to medium flame, till all of our jaggery completely melts. It doesn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes, but you have to continuously stir the mixture. Now, with regard to the rice flour, I'm using roasted rice flour, which I do get in my general store. But the other way is you just take regular rice, roast it, and then when it cools down, completely grind it and strain it. So you can do that, or if you get roasted rice flour, which is easily available in some stores, you can use that. So I'm using the roasted rice flour. So now it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for the entire mixture to smoothen up like this. Ensure that there are no lumps of the jaggery. Now once it completely dissolves, we're going to add our elaichi powder or our cardamom powder and mix it in well. Now we're going to add the desiccated coconut, or if you're using fresh coconut, it's time to add the fresh coconut, and you're going to mix it completely into the jaggery till you don't see any white specks. That means our coconut is completely mixed up with our jaggery. Now once that is done and you find that the coconut has mixed, just add a little bit of our roasted rice flour, a little at a time. Mix everything in well till you get a nice dark brown mixture and there's no white left. Even if a little bit of white is left, it's okay, because once our mixture cools down, we are going to knead the mixture completely. So now once everything is done, just let the mixture completely cool down to room temperature, and then we're just going to knead it a bit. And what I've done is I've just taken a little bit of clarified butter or ghee on the palm of my hands, and I'm just going to knead this mixture a bit, and then I've just taken a little bit of desiccated coconut and kept it in a plate, and I'm just going to form the Pinagr shape, which is like a small croquette. So we're just going to form it like this. And now I am dipping it in or rolling it in some desiccated coconut. That is completely optional, but it looks very pretty. So just spread out the desiccated coconut a bit and then just roll it into the mixture. And then just flatten the edges a bit. And that's it. So this recipe was requested by my regular viewer and someone who's really so sweet and who really sends me lovely comments and messages, and that is Pearl D'Souza. So Pearl, you had asked me for my version of the Goan sweet called Pinagr or Pinaka. So this is it. So do try it out and let me know how you liked it. So this is what we're going to do with the rest of the dough. And with these measures of the ingredients that I've used, I got exactly 9 pinagras or pinaka. It's a very easy sweet to make and it tastes simply delicious. So as far as the Goan Jaggery, do let me know in Mumbai, wherever you're staying, whether you can, from where do you source your Goan Jaggery? Because I got mine from Nature's Basket. It's called palm sugar. So it is Goan Jaggery, because once I tasted it, I just knew, okay, this is Goan Jaggery, because I have had a lot of Goan Jaggery. During my childhood, whenever we used to go to Goa, my mom and dad used to always pick up Goan Jaggery, and it comes in this typical pyramid form. So I got mine from Nature's Basket, but if any of you all know where in Mumbai or Bombay we can get this, then please leave it in the comment section below. It'll be really helpful for our viewers and for anyone who's really looking to use Goan Jaggery. So that's it, friends. It's such an easy recipe. It hardly had any ingredients. And like I said, if you want to use the ready-made roasted rice flour, you can do that. Otherwise, just take rice, the regular rice that you use at your home. Just roast it a bit in a pan, let it cool down, completely grind it, and then just sieve it. You need to sieve it, otherwise it will not come to the right consistency. So I hope you guys try out this recipe and do let me know in the comment section as to how it turned out and how you liked it. And stay tuned to Akshata's recipes. There's a lots more coming up. I have many recipes to share. So stay tuned, and of course subscribe to my channel. Once you've subscribed, hit the bell, because that way whenever I put up a new recipe, you'll get a message for the same, so you won't miss out anything happening on my channel. So they formed so well that it's so easy to break it up, and it's simply delicious. Now here I've taken 1 cup of rice. I'm going to add this to a bowl, and I'm going to wash the rice thrice under running water really well. So squeeze the rice out in the water. First you'll get a very murky water, and with every wash the water gets clearer. So wash the rice thrice. Now once we're done with the rice, I'm going to do the same thing with half a cup of chana dal. Just add that to the bowl, wash it thrice. And now I'm going to soak the rice as well as the chana dal. The rice I'm going to soak in 3 cups of water and the chana dal in 2 cups of water for about 8 hours. This is very important. You can even soak it overnight, but 8 hours should be sufficient. Now after 8 hours, you're going to drain out all the water from the dal and the rice, and you're going to add this to a pressure pan. Now I'm going to add about 4 cups of water to the pressure pan, and we're going to pressure cook this for 1 whistle on high and then simmer it or cook it on a very low flame for 10 minutes, and then put off the gas and let the cooker cool completely. Now after the pressure cooker cools down, you can open it and you can see that the dal and the rice is nicely cooked. So now I can show you all the other ingredients. There are very few other ingredients required for this godshe. Now here I have 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 cup of jaggery, you can use the Goan Jaggery, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, and these are 2 turmeric leaves which is optional, and just a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to cook this in my pressure pan because it is a heavy bottom pan. Now I haven't turned the flame on of the gas yet, but I'm going to mash the dal and the rice a bit, and I'm going to add the coconut milk and again mash it up just a little. Not completely, it shouldn't become into like a porridge, but just a little bit mash up the rice and the dal. Now we haven't turned on the gas or the flame or the heat yet. So mash up everything a little bit, and now we're going to turn on the heat. Now we're going to add the other ingredients, that is the jaggery. Next I'm going to add the elaichi powder or the cardamom powder. I've just used 1 teaspoon, or you can use 4 cloves, and a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to keep my flame from low to medium, and I'm going to mix all the ingredients really well together. Now this godshe is a delicious anytime snack, goes well with a cup of tea or even a sweet after a meal. Now after cooking this for about 5 minutes, stirring in between, you will see that the jaggery has all melted and you get a lovely dark color. Now if you're using Goan jaggery, you'll get a beautiful dark brown color. Now I'm going to add the turmeric leaves, which is completely optional, but I have a small little plant in my kitchen window with my turmeric leaves, so I'm adding it for that lovely flavor. And after cooking this for another 5 minutes on a low to medium flame, it starts to thicken. So keep stirring in between and you will see that it thickens up really quickly and it will start leaving the sides of the pan. Now in the meantime, I'm just going to grease a tray, or you can even use the back of a steel plate, a large steel plate. So I'm just greasing this pan that I have, and now you can see that everything has come together and it has really thickened. So this took me a total of 20 minutes. Now I'm going to transfer this to my greased tray, which is actually a pie tray with a removable base, but you can use any steel thali or even a cake pan. And now I'm going to just even it out or flatten the top. So I'm just using the back of a vati. You can even use a small glass, heavy glass, just to press it down. And now we're going to let it completely cool for 2 hours. I have refrigerated it for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, you will see that the whole thing comes together very well. And now we're just going to demold it. And they're going to cut it up into whatever desired shape. You can cut it up into triangles, into squares. But I like this lovely triangular kind of a pie shape. And you can see that everything has really come together really well. So I hope you'll give this recipe a try. And let me know in the comments section how you like it. I will catch you in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Bye. So here I have 100 grams of broken wheat called dalia or lapsi rava. It's easily available in general stores and is very reasonable too. Now here I have half a cup of Goan Jaggery, also called palm jaggery or made se god. I've just grated it using a cheese grater. Now I'm also going to be using half a cup of sugarcane jaggery or the general, yellow jaggery that you get in stores. This is 1 cup of thick coconut milk, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of cardamom or elaichi powder. I've just used 3 cardamoms and ground them to a fine powder after peeling it. And 1/4 cup of chopped nuts. That is, I've used cashew nuts and almonds. And we're going to use about 3 or 4 teaspoons of ghee or clarified butter. So let's start with today's lovely recipe. Now I'm going to first heat a pan and I'm going to add this dalia or broken wheat, and we're going to dry roast this for at least 5 whole minutes on a low to medium flame, stirring continuously. So don't leave it unattended, but just stir it continuously. This is very important, so don't skip this step. We need to roast this dalia really well. Now you'll see after 5 to 10 minutes it will change, after 5 minutes rather, it will change into a little darker brown color. Now I'm going to add the thick coconut milk and we're going to stir the two really well together. Now this coconut milk is going to cook the dalia. It's very similar like when you're making something with rava. You add the milk and you let it cook. Now we're going to add the lovely flavor of the Goan Jaggery and also the sugarcane jaggery. So now we're going to mix this well till the jaggery nicely melts and mixes up with the rest of the mixture. That's very important. And you will see that as it starts cooking, you will get this lovely dark brown color. As the Goan Jaggery starts cooking with the rest of the ingredients, you'll get a lovely dark color to this Doce Bhaji or Lapsi. Now we're going to add the cardamom powder or the elaichi powder. So I've just peeled 3 cardamoms and then ground it in my mortar and pestle to a very fine powder, or you can use ready-made elaichi powder. Now I'm just going to add a few drops of ghee, say about 3 or 4 teaspoons of clarified butter or ghee. This will enhance the flavor of the dish as well as give it a lovely texture. And now I'm just going to stir the mixture on a low to medium heat, stirring continuously for about 5 to 7 minutes. And you will see that the consistency of this mixture will turn, it will change, it will start thickening, and then you'll get this ghee on the edges. Just scrape it off and, get it to the center like I'm doing when I'm stirring, like that. And just keep stirring continuously. Don't leave it unattended. You can control the heat by making it from low to medium to high, and then after some time, after 5 to 7 minutes, you'll see that the whole thing has come together like this, and those bhaji is ready. You can put the flame off, and now I'm just brushing a plate. You can also use a mold or a bowl, and I'm just going to transfer this into that bowl, and you can see how thick the mixture has become. And now with the spatula, I'm just going to flatten the top using any flat, you can use a vati also or a spatula like this. And now all we have to do is just garnish it with some chopped nuts. Now I've used cashew nuts and almonds, but you can use any dry fruits or nuts of your choice. I've just chopped them up roughly, and I'm just going to garnish it with the chopped nuts. And then we have to refrigerate this for at least 2 to 3 hours till it sets nicely, because then we're going to cut it up into whatever desired shape and serve it. So this is really delicious, and it's also very healthy. So I'm going to put it into my refrigerator to set for about 2 to 3 hours or even longer. You can even keep it overnight. And you will see after 2 to 3 hours, it nicely thickens and sets really well. And now we're just going to cut it up. So I'm cutting it up just into 4s. You can even cut it up into squares. If you're putting it into a square mold, the choice is yours. And you can see that it's nice and all ready to eat. So give this recipe a try, guys.